8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm the party starter. Are you ready to go? I'm the party starter. Party starter. Party starter. Party starter. I'm the party starter. Everybody, let's go. I'm the party starter. Everybody, let's go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm the party starter. Are you ready to go? I'm the party starter. Party starter. Party starter. Party starter. I'm the party starter. Everybody, let's go. I'm the party starter. Everybody, let's go.
10,
Well, folks, good evening to you one and all, and welcome to SRA, going out live tonight, SRA Sim Race Africa, and that is the total conglomeration of guys throughout South Africa and in Namibia that are part of a Sim Race Africa. We've just completed the initial stages of tonight, which is the open practice. That has just come to an end. You can see on the left-hand top corner of the screen, there's 1 minute and 5 seconds to go. Then we'll be going into a 5-minute qualifier. But before I give you any further information, joining me tonight, Mike's side. I'll be doing the production side, and then with me, Mike's side, the voice of West Province Motorsport, Frankie Yennis. Frankie, good evening to you.
Yes, good evening, Gary, and good everybody out there in Facebook world. We are at the Brands Hatch circuit in the UK, situated in a town called West Kingston in Kent, and we will be doing the short version of the Brands Hatch straight, or the track I should say, not the long version. The long version is about 3.9 k's, the short version is 2 kilometers shorter, and the main straight is the Brabham straight. Then they will go into turn 1, which is called Paddock Hill, drop down the long straight into Halewood Hill, turn right into Druids, into Graham Hill, straight and bend into the Cooper straight, left and right, Surtees, McLaren, the Clark curve, and then right onto the main straight again. And there's lots of championships that's happened out here. The British Grand Prix has taken part in this track before, the FIA World Touring Car Championship, Formula 3000 International Championship, the all redundant A1 GP, World Superbikes, British Superbikes, British Touring Car, DTM, the FIA Formula European 3000, British Formula 3 Championship, kart, which of course is IndyCar, World Sports Car Championship. This is also the home of the FIA World Rallycross Championship, Britcar, and many other forms of racing take part on the Brands Hatch track. That's the Indy circuit that we are on tonight, and the full circuit as well. So yes, with the 5 minutes qualifying, the guys are out on the track. It looks like that we're going to have about 17 cars out there doing the 5-minute qualifying session.
This being round number 2 is going to be pretty interesting stuff, because Goodcut and the guys are now carrying weight. The heaviest weight would be for Sean Herrera, which is 100 kilograms of ballast weight. Sean Herrera has not clicked onto the server so far this week, so I'm not too sure if he is going to make tonight's race or not. But anything from 0 kilos of ballast right up to and including 100 kilograms will be pretty interesting. What I can tell you is that the reigning South African drifting champion, Christopher Long, that's him in the Mike's Place car, he does not carry hardly any additional weight at all, and seeing what he's done in the earlier part of the practice session, with only 20 kilograms of ballast, that Mike's Place car is going to be super duper quick in the hands of the reigning South African drifting champion, Christopher Long. Interesting to see. Peter Geldenhuys puts in his first time of 47.6, Christopher Long 47.7, Mohamed Arafanta 47.8, Lyle Ramsey, one of the guys that's in the top echelons of the competition, he's got himself up into the top 5 as well. Adrian Mel puts in a slower initial opening salvo there. Warwick Stewart, I'm pretty sure you'll find Warwick computer boffin. he's going to be well inside that top 10. Melvin Ghost, the man from Namibia, that to a large extent puts this all together. He's in 11th place so far. He does a lot of the setups for a lot of the guys, and that setup makes a hell of a difference. And believe you me, once he gets this one sorted out, he's going to be pretty quick out there. As Frankie said, 5 minutes qualifying, then there'll be a 1 minute gap, and then we will go into heat number 1.
Right, you've got a 2 minutes and 3 seconds coming up for this 5 minute qualifying session. Everybody should be doing under 1 minute. While the Swickers has done a 57 seconds, I'm sure he really wasn't taking it out there, because they should all be doing mid to high 40s. With Peter Geldenhuis doing a 47.5. Also on 47.7 is Chris Long, Carl Lawrence, Clinton Besaidenout, and Mohamed Arafante. They've been doing all 47s. And then doing a very low 48 is Gerard Niemand. Mohamed Arafante has now also gone and done a 47, as well as Niemand. Lyle Ramsey's on a 48.1, and so was Grobler, Grenfell, Gous, Nell. They are all doing low to mid 48s. And then, of course, Waldo Swickers, and of course, ahead of him, Warwick Stewart, they're doing mid 48. So, yeah, they should all be doing around about 47, 48 seconds a lap. It's going to be very quick. One lap will go absolutely flat out, and it'll be super quick around this track. To do this circuit in under a minute, these guys are going pretty well. A big thanks to JP Hydraulics, you see there on the side of Melvin Ghoust's car from Walvis Bay in Namibia. And Volvo Cars Namibia, the main sponsor of round 2 of the British Touring Car Championship.
So big thanks to Johan van der Westhuizen of Quick Fix, to John Vaughan of Maps Racing, and then Yuri Swart of Alpine Auto coming on from the commentary to make it all possible for us. Only 18 seconds to go. Charles Randall, Warren Sheehan have not put up a time yet. So I'm not sure why they've not come out of the pit area. Some of the problems now, of course, but very, very hard lap as it comes up, so they're blocking up that right turn back as it comes up on the top of the hill. And that goes back to the pits and says enough. Timing has now come to an end. So that is the end of the qualifier. So the front row of the grid will be Christopher Long and Peter Geldenhuis, Carl Lawrence and Clinton Besaidenout on the second row of the grid, Lyle Ramsey and Gerard Niemand on the fourth row, Mohamed Arafante and Adrian Nell on the fifth row, Peter Grobler and Calvin Grenfell will be on the fifth row of the grid. Melvin and Warwick, the two guys, two of the main guys behind SRA, is two gentlemen with a good couple of other people helping in the background as well, and making it all possible. So that was the qualifier, and when that timer you see 1 minute 22 on the left hand side there, that will be when we start with race number 1. Race number 1 will be 17 minutes plus 1 lap. Then we will have a 1 minute break. We will then have the front 8 being inverted, so literally the front half of the pack will be inverted. A big thanks, as we said, to Volvo Cars Namibia, and then also JP Hydraulics, Quick Fix, Maps Racing, and Alpine Auto. I do believe we're going to be starting with the pace car once again. So once that timer goes down, we'll get them all onto the circuit. You'll see the timer will go off. Everybody will stand on the grid, probably, if we've got it correctly. And then they will go from there. They will go 1 lap around on the warm-up lap, and then it'll be all systems go from there. 30 seconds to go.
Right, 30 seconds to go. You heard Gary say there's 17 minutes plus 1 lap for race 1 and for race number 2. And we will be starting under the pace car, so that we don't get that one wrong. The last event we were a little bit confused, but yeah, that has now sorted itself out. So obviously the guys will be going out behind the pace car. Then the pace car will pull into the pits, and then it will be whatever's left on the clock plus 1 lap. So Chris Long and Peter Geldenhuis lock out the front row of the grid. Then Lawrence and Besaidnout, the second row. Third row, Ramsey, Niemand. Fourth row, Arafante. And whoever's sitting in the next team, which just jumped off the side of the screen, that will be Arafante and Nel. And then the fifth row, Grobler and Grenfell. And the sixth row, Gous and Stewart, followed there by Roots, Swiggers, Randall and Sheehan. That's if he does come out, because the two of them didn't post the time. Right. We will be waiting for them to get the light sequence, and then the pace car will make its way through. And the same as a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, a whole heap of South African and Namibian drivers. A big thanks to Volvo Cars Namibia and to JP Hydraulics, the main sponsors of round 2 of the British Touring Car Championship at Brands Hatch Short Circuit, or also known as the Indy Circuit at Brands Hatch. So there the pace car makes its way down the middle of the circuit. The timer is effectively on. The 17 minutes has started, but they will pull away now behind the yellow pace car that's making its way into turn number 1, which is called Paddock Hill. And then they'll swing it right through Paddock Hill and then race downhill into Halewoods Hill. And then they'll turn it right into Druids, the hairpin that is Druids. You see the pace car turning right there into Druids. And from Druids they'll be making their way up the Graham Hill straight and left into the Graham Hill bend as the cars make their way around from there. They will head into the Cooper straight, and then they'll turn left into Surtees and right into McLaren. That is now Surtees they're going into now. That is the left-hander. And then they'll swing right into McLaren. Yeah, they turn into McLaren now, and then into the Clark curve. It just keeps on going round and round and round until they get onto the main straight. That is the Brabham straight. There they're heading towards the main straight now. That's the Brabham straight. There's a pit entrance on the right-hand side. And we're about to go with 15 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. Away we go as they squirt down the Brabham straight, flat out there into Paddock Hill. And we are aboard with race leader Chris Long. Chris Long has got Geldenhuys and Lawrence sitting in second and third position now. Down Paddock Hill, they race now through Halewood Hill towards Druids. Through the right-hander, that is Druids, onto the Graham Hill straight, which takes him into the left-hander. That will be Graham Hill Bend. There they're squirting it now through Graham Hill Bend as they work their way now through the Cooper straight.
Very nice takeoff there by Christopher Long, I must say. That shot that we had looking backwards from Christopher Long's car, look at that. He's got himself a nice little gap there on the start, and that from Peter Geldenhuys. So Peter Geldenhuys finds himself in a reasonably open position there as Peter Geldenhuys looking backwards from this one.
Right, so we now are on board with the Geldenhuys, the man that sits there in that second position. Chris Long is way down the road. We're aboard now with the Geldenhuys as he is making his way up the main straight. He'll turn it right now into Paddock Hill. Lawrence still sits there in that third position, followed there by Besaidnout, Ramsey, Arafante, Nel, Grobler and Grenfell. They round off the top 10 as they work their way around the circuit. Right, we are now still on board with Peter Geldenhuys, as Geldenhuys in that Alpha, sitting in that second position. He is chasing down race leader Chris Long, that has done almost 4 laps. Long sits out there in P1. Geldenhuys sits in second. Lawrence sits in third as Geldenhuys makes his way through Paddock Hill. From Paddock Hill down the Halewoods Hill he goes now into the right-hander that is Druids, as we now ride with third place man Carl Lawrence. Carl Lawrence making his way around. You can see Lawrence, it looks like he's chasing Geldenhuys. That's there in that second place. They're coming around that last corner. That is the Clark curves, and now down the main straight that is Brabham Straight.
Now, he's tell you what, he's pushing pretty hard, trying to stick in there. Christopher Long has got himself up, dusted and disappeared at the front end of the field. There's Peter Geldenhuys is in that second position and a pretty long way back. So big gap between them there. Carl Lawrence is not that far off in that second position. So I believe that is that one. If that definitely doesn't look right to me. That being Christopher Long. And then that being Carl Lawrence. Couldn't say no, the next one coming through. He finds himself quite a long way back, but Lyle Ramsey is right in there behind him. And definitely he's a glitch in the system because that is not the correct placings as we would have expected them to be. But yeah, let's go with what we've got. That's the way it is as they work their way through the paddock corner and down the hill. And that's a long, fast right-hander, and then up the hill, and that right-hander going into Druids.
Now, Geldenhuys is definitely not in that second position. As you see, the clock is running next to his name all the time, so that's definitely a glitch in the system. But indeed, in P1, it is Christopher Long. He's done 5.5 laps. He's almost finished with his 6th lap as he works his way now through that right-hander. And we'll try to pick up there who's sitting in that second place. It might be Lawrence that's in that second place. We're all aboard with Geldenhuys that shows second on your TV screens or your monitor, but he definitely isn't in that second place. Lawrence is in second place. We're looking at Lawrence here from, I believe, Clinton Besaideno's car as they work their way around. You can see the gaggle of cars making their way down that main straight. So definitely, yep, that is Lawrence that is sitting there behind Long. So ignore the fact that you see Geldenhuys there in second place, people, because that is incorrect.
A bit of Geldenhuys went off and has now come back onto the circuit. Clinton Geldenhuys, Clinton Besaideno a long way further back. We see that's the improv from Lyle Ramsey, and then Gerard Niemand finds himself in a bit of a struggle there now as well. As we go through, let's just pick up the right TV shot there. Now you can see there's a number of cars that are now standing in the pits, and that's probably where the glitch comes in. Warren Sheehan and Sean Randall there in the pit area, but undoubtedly Christopher Long is the man of the moment right now, and no doubt that man in there behind him is Carl Lawrence doing a brilliant job. He's Carl Lawrence right now. That is what he sees looking at the back of the Christopher Long car.
Yeah, so Long sits in P1, Lawrence sits in that second place, and there's nothing between the two of them as they make their way around the final corner. Heading down the Brabham Straight now, we are aboard the second place man, Carl Lawrence, as he sits right on that back bumper now. Now has a look up on the inside of Chris Long and takes the lead. Has he taken the lead away? No, he hasn't. He still sits in there behind the Mike's Place Toyota. It is the Alfa Romeo chasing the Toyota. Into the right-hander they go now. They'll drop slightly downhill now. He looks up on the inside. Lawrence up on the inside of Long. He does the in-out on him and back onto the outside again as Long is looking in that rearview mirrors thinking, how the heck do I keep this very quick Alfa behind my Toyota?
Big time battles going on further down. That's Peter Frobler that finds himself in 9th position. Calvin Grenfell just in there behind him. Adrian Nell just ahead of him. That's the Sign Factory Ford. That's Adrian Nell, and he's not very far from the Northgate Duo sponsored Alpha that is on its way now into the front main. So definitely a bit of a mix-up on the scoreboard. There must have been a pile-up that we missed off-screen earlier on, and I think that is what has caused that bit of a problem for us that they're not really supposed to be. Charles Randall, we know he's in the pits. There's a shot of him, and Warren Sheehan as well. So we've definitely lost out on them. Xander Ritz had a bit of a problem earlier on, but he's got the Alpha back on the now, and he's got Warwick Stewart that's right there with him as well. That's that gang of cars that you see now coming up the hill towards the S's.
There's definitely a glitch in the scoreboard on the top right-hand side with 8 minutes left to go now. We're on board with the Audi of Warwick Stewart the Red Bull Racing Audi of Warwick Stewart making his way down the Brabham Straight. That's the main straight, as he will now run it down into turn number 1. That lovely Red Bull Racing sign there of Warwick Stewart, as he's been hounded there. Now it looks as if up on the inside behind him could be Zander Roots that's having a look at him there. And then Volvo Swiggers, according to the scoreboard, should also be in there as well. And he runs, well, they all run a touch wide. I think the race director will look at track limits here, because going into that right-hander, they were all using the circuit and a bit of the Brands Hatch grass as well. But up front, with 11 laps done, it's still Long in P1, Lawrence in second, and Poseidon Note in third.
A little bit of lag there on that car of Christopher Long, so he's definitely battling a bit with that one. It's not working the way we wanted to, unfortunately. But yeah, we've got 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go as we have a good look there at the mid-pack with that 88 car. And I'll tell you what, that mid-pack battle is getting pretty hectic if you look at that one as they work their way through. That is Peter Grobler, and he's in there just behind Adrian Mel. And it's Calvin Greenfield and Malcolm Hurst. Now Malcolm's got himself ahead of Warwick Stewart, and they are in 11th and 12th position.
We're on board there with the Geldernaise, so he's way down the road in that 88 Alfa Romeo, as he's got a whole gaggle of them in there behind him. As he goes into that right-hander, he's got, I think it might be Warwick Stewart that is in there behind him in that Red Bull Racing Audi that sits there right behind the 88 of Peter Geldernaise. So there's a whole group of them. There's about 5 of them that's now turning into that left-hander. And that Alpha, it's definitely Warwick Stewart that sits there behind him, hugging that back bumper there of Geldernaise as they turn into the left right-hander. And then they'll go through that long right-hander that takes them back onto the main straight once again.
Still in that second position, and it looks like Christopher Long has actually made a bit of a gap for himself with this one. Christopher Long leading this one out from Carl Lawrence. Then we've got Clinton Poseidon. The Clinton Poseidon, that's the Audi that you see in there behind him. That's Lyle Ramsey. And then it's Gerard Niemand that's gone into the pit. So that's Mohamed Arifanto. That's the third car in that group that you see there. And it's getting very tight there in the mid-pack.
Right, it is getting very close in that mid-pack, that's for sure. And there's nothing between them. We've got Audis, we've got Alphas, we've got Honda Civics, we've got BMWs, we've got the whole lot, Toyotas, inside round 2 of the British Touring Car Championship from Brands Hatch, brought to you by Volvo Cars Namibia and JP Hydraulics. A big thanks to all of our sponsors, with all the South African and Namibian drivers taking part in round 2 of the British Touring Car Championship. And we are aboard now with Peter Grobler, and he's looking at the Adrian Nel car in front of him. Adrian Nel, I think, is in a Ford Focus. That's the only Ford Focus I picked up out there, is Adrian Nel, and he's got the BMW of Grobler that's just 1.1 seconds behind him. So that's a lovely dice there between Nel and Grobler for that mid-pack position for P8 and 9.
Let's go and have a look back at the front end of the field with 3 minutes 54 to go. There he is. That is Christopher Long. And this one out as the quick gap then back to Carl Lawrence. Next one through behind that, there's Clinton Poseidon. In there behind him, the likes of Lyle Ramsey and then Mohamed Arifanto is the next one that's in there as well. So definitely a bit of computer lag on that one, no doubt about that. Melvin Close and Warwick Stewart, they still find themselves a little bit further down the back. That is the JP Hydraulics car. That's Alan Martin, JP Hydraulics. Big thanks to him. He's also been very much involved with making this possible. And Warwick Stewart also in there as well. Red Bull Racing. Xander Roots down in 13. He hasn't been able to make much headway So then to go for that man out there, the white place of Christopher Long.
Well, you showed us Zander Roots, and I managed to pick up that it is Geldenhuys that was sitting there behind him. So Geldenhuys effectively then is in P14 and not P2 as you see on the leaderboard. There's 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock, and we ride with third place man Carl Lawrence in the Alfa Romeo. Lawrence sitting out there, sorry, not third place, I do apologize, the second place man Carl Lawrence, and he's chasing down Chris Long, but Chris Long is way down the highway, and I think with just over a minute and 50 seconds left to go, he's going to settle for that second position. Clinton Besaidnout in that pink and blue and white Audi. He sits there effectively in that third position, not fourth on the screen, because remember Geldenhuys isn't in the right position. So Besaidnout sits there in P3 actually. P4 will be Ramsey, and then P5 will be Niemand, and then Arafante will round off the top half a dozen in that Alfa Romeo. You see it says Austin on the back window, but that is effectively Mohamed Arafante with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Plus, Gary, I'm led to believe 1 lap.
Yeah, that means when the leader goes across the line, once the computer has gone to 0.00, it will be 1 lap from the out, and that race. And that nice shot as they come in the hill. 1 gear down, the line brakes, pick up that curb stone on the inside, now to hard on the brakes, work it nice and neatly through the corner, and the speed that you pick up there, really up the length of the straight, down the hill you go, and now towards Paddock Bend, a very well-known, famous corner, that Paddock Bend, then on the brakes, off the gas, and he locks it up pretty heavily as it goes in there, and now they're trying their best to try and catch him as they go into the corner. Look at that, they're walking up on the outside line, and Alpha comes up on the inside, and the JP Hydraulics car climbing in there as well. So Melbourne Coast had a very nice run at this stage of the fight. He should have took something like that. That's from the inside of Melbourne Coast's car.
Right, well, we see that the leader has got 2 laps to go and not 1, so they'll obviously be doing 2 laps. So Christopher Long, Carl Lawrence and Clinton Besaidnout have got another lap and 3/4 to do as they race down that long Brabham Straight, which takes them into turn number 1, and Melbourne Coast, the JP Hydraulics Toyota, has a look up there on the inside, and he makes up 1 more position as we now are on board with the Melbourne Host. And well, it says Warwick Stewart behind him, but that man behind him is definitely not Warwick Stewart, that's for sure, because Warwick has got that Red Bull Racing Audi, and that is an Audi, but that's not the Warwick Stewart that you are seeing there behind Melbourne Host as he turns it into the right-hander. The leader has started his last lap, so Gary, there's 1 more lap to go for the leader, which is Christopher Long taking to the flag.
Mike's Place car leading them out. That's Christopher Long. Oh, he's done a brilliant job from literally when the lights went off. Christopher has been right there, first and second place, nothing less than that. And the reigning South African drifting champion, Mike's Place sponsorship. Back in Mike's Place, it says what William Ray for his 2020 season. A lot of drifting overseas. Championships as well. One of the ones that he's going to do. Christopher Long weaves from side to side as he goes across the line, and then the checkered flag has come out in the left-hand top corner, so that should then be shows the final lap, but I do believe that that has actually completed. So it will be Carl Lawrence, Clinton Besaidnout, Lyle Ramsey, Farah Niemand, Mohamed Arafante, and then probably Adrian Nell. So I'm going to correct once we go to the second race, probably the final to have Nell and Arafante. It's going to be on the front row of the grid. Probably then Niemand and Ramsey, and then Besaidnout and Lawrence, and then Geldenhuys and Long will probably be the other 2. you're going to find that that man has run out of juice, because you do actually put an amount of fuel into these cars. It does affect the weight factor, and if you run out of juice, it just lies on you. So the same note, running out of juice and Mr. Long's hang up, I will work you back to the pits. Well, once they've all gotten back to the pit area, so obviously that shouldn't have too big a gap time-wise. Well, there's helping the men's championships hopes come alive, because Clinton had not gone across the line. So now he has come across the line, so that will then give him that result. Right, thank you folks. We're going to be going through in a couple of seconds to heat number 2.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Feel the flow. I'm the party starter. Are you ready to go? I'm the party starter. Party starter. Party starter. Party starter. I'm the party starter. Everybody, let's go. I'm the party starter. Everybody, let's go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm just waiting for everybody to get good to go. In 18 seconds from now, they should be on the grid. Right, here we go. Race number 2, just about good to go. Wait for the pace car to come through. Waldo Swiggers and Mohammed Arafante, as we said, on the front of the grid. Calvin Grenfell and Melvin Gous in the JP Hydraulics car. That's Alan Martin. That's the guys from Namibia on the second of the grid. Peter Geldenhuys and Adrian Nell on the third, though. Lyle Ramsey and Christopher Long. That was first and second. So we were correct with that, Frankie. Christopher Long and Lyle Ramsey. And they find themselves now on the invert, going down to 7th and 8th position. So Clinton Bezuidenhout, that's the pink and blue car that you see in front of you there. That is the man that just missed out on going to pole position for heat number 2. And the car in front of him, the Summer Drift guy, and that is the rear view of the Christopher Long car. So that is now 100% correct. So Melvin Gous, Warren Stewart, Sander Roots, Waldo Swiggers, Charles Randall's out there as well. Warren Sheehan's also going to be there. And then we just have to get the last car that's there off the grid. That's a slight computer situation that we have to sort out. We make that one go back to the pits, and then we go back to the circuit. Like that. So that Christopher Long should be further down. I'm not sure why it shows him up top. Let's hope that the scoreboard will get it correct for us. In fact, starts in 8th position. That's correct. There you can see him, and it's Bezuidenhout that's in there behind him as well. right, so they come up the hill. And as they come across the line, it'll be all systems go. It will all go on the base car. Veldmaas will be there on that front row of the grid. Our Lawrence is here as well. Looks like our leaderboard has not in fact sorted itself out. We're going to have to try and work it out as we go, as the leaders work their way down into turn number 1. Look at that, down the hill they go. That's through the paddock curve, up the hill they go, hard on the brakes. Look at that, everybody diving left and right and all over the show to try and get the positions correct. Christopher Long sitting there in the pack now. No, Christopher Long does show at the front of the leaderboard that in fact is incorrect. That is in there behind Warwick Stewart as they work their way through the S's. They will now take a sharp left-hander, a sharp right-hander, hard on the brakes, down into third gear. Got to turn that in and got to be on the power to get it to come through there. Down into the dip they go, take the right-hander up the hill and up into the start, finish straight. 14 minutes, 30 to go.
Oh, that's a total mess on the top right-hand side there, because you see Kelvin is showing in second, and he's not second. He's just behind Christopher Long. They are making their way through the field. So for now, ignore what you see on the top right-hand side. All those names are in the incorrect positions. So if we can just get a camera view on the leader, then we can literally see who the man is that is racing. We are aboard with Mohamed Arafanto. And he is right there at the sharp end of the field. Adrianel is also in there as well with that Ford Focus ST as he makes his way now through the Clark curve and onto the Brabham straight. That is the main straight, as Nell is having a look there at Chris Long, and here comes Melvin Gous. Yep, the JP Hydraulics car sits in there just behind Adrianel as he runs at a touch wide. Now has a look up on the inside of Chris Long into the right hand. Has he got the line for him? Yes, he nails him. The Ford versus the Toyota into the right hander now. Then they swing through that left hander. Just keep him going. That is Long and Nell. The Toyota and the Ford, they will do that left, right, and into the Clark corner, and that will take them back onto the Brabham straight.
Lost out to Warren Sheehan and Charles Randall. They are in the circuit but not on the circuit. That is your batting for 4th and 5th position. You'll see 1st, 2nd and 3rd is further up the road. So that is Christopher Long. That is just ahead there of Adrian Nell. Then it looks like it is Melvin Gous is the next one that's in there with the J. Brown College car. And it's pick up on Warwick Stewart. Warwick's a little bit further back. Melvin Gous now. There's the JPI College car. He's right in there. And that looks around about 7th position. Yeah, 7th position. I think it could be Nell that is ahead of that. And probably that is Peter Frobler. I would think that he can come up behind the barriers. Yeah, that's Peter Frobler in the 22. That's the black livery with the red and black on it. And then the Alpha that comes in behind it. I do believe that could be Calvin Granville. Not Granville is in numbers, so that one is then also incorrect. So let's see if we can try and pick up the lead cars for the finals. They go in there. Same look with that very distinctive colours. You can't miss him whatsoever. And still that massive battle going on with JPR College car. Look at that. I'll have a look up on the inside line there.
Yeah, we'll just work with what we got, folks. It's a little bit difficult knowing that our leaderboard is completely incorrect. So we are on board there with the number 3 car, the Ford Focus ST of Adrianel, as he works his way onto the Brabham straight. That's the home straight, and down into turn number 1 they go now. Adrianel there. Where is Grobler? We are missing Grobler. I'm sure he's a little bit further down. There goes Peter Grobler. Yes, he's having a lovely dice there with Clinton Besaidenout and Melvin Gous. So, it's touch and go there. It's Besaidenout. It is Grobler as he tags and turns him around. It looked like he turned Besaidenout around, and he himself has picked up damage there as Peter Nell.
I think he actually slowed down purposefully to try and he has stopped. Well, we know that it's the gold-colored car that's at the front of the pack. Let's see if we can try and pick up with that. You see that our leaderboard is incorrect. As Frankie said, let's work with what we've got. So that Honda out front, that is the man that we're looking for. Could that be? Yes. All right. So Waldo Swiggers is definitely the man that is up front. That second place car, let's see if we can pick up who that is. I think that could be Arafanto. Yes, it is. So it's Swiggers from Arafanto. Then it is Christopher Long. That one we've got right as well. Let's see if we can pick him up. Yep, that's Christopher Long. In there behind Christopher Long, it looks like one of the Alphas that's coming through there behind him. Yeah, but that is definitely what we are looking at. Waldo Swiggers, that's looking out. Well, if we look backwards from Waldo Swiggers' car, yep, there you go. That's Waldo Swiggers. And that is what he sees if he looks out the back of his car. And Christopher Long, that is in that third position. If he looks forward, he will then see that two-car battle in front of him.
Yeah, so you will see Swiggers and Arafanto. They are sitting first and second, and Christopher Long is in that third position. So now we've got the top three sorted out, as we've got just on 9 minutes left, or yeah, got 9 minutes, approaching 9 minutes to go out the 17. And Christopher Long is having a look up on the inside of Mohammed Arafanto. They are side by side, Arafanto and Long, and they're chasing down race leader Waldo Swiggers in the Honda Civic as they race down into turn number 1. And then we do have that Alpha that is tucked in there in P4 just behind the Mike's Place Toyota of Chris Long. And I'm trying to see who that is as they come through there. That is Carl Lawrence. So Carl Lawrence is in that fourth position. Lawrence does round off the top 4. Oh, and Arafanto has been pressurized heavily there by Christopher Long, bringing Lawrence into play as well. And ahead of the three of them is race leader Waldo Swiggers, and he tagged him. Lawrence is going to dive through on the inside of Arafanto. Arafanto's lost 2 positions now because Long has got his nose ahead of him, and so is Kyle Lawrence.
What a pity that the leaderboard is not correct. Fantastic. But either way, a very, very nice advice that we see at the front here with Swiggers. Somehow Swiggers is holding on with the Honda. I don't know how Swiggers is doing it. Let's look back from Swiggers' car. That's what he sees behind him. So that's first, second, and third. And then there's that massive battle line. The Zayden note that is a little bit further back. Yeah, that's Clifford the Zayden note. So let's try and pick up that one. Yep, there it is, Clifford the Zayden note in there behind Ford. Yep, that one is correct. That's the 57 of Clifford the Zayden note. The Ford directly in front of him. That is Adrian Nell as they go up the straight. And then the Puma in front of that, I think, could be Problem, but I speak under prediction. Either way, Waldo Swiggers, he's dropped down into third position. It's Waldo Swiggers. And look who's gone to the front. No other than Christopher Long.
Long and Lawrence, P1, P2, Swiggers, P3, Arafanto, P4. That is that top 4 that you see making their way around. And we've got 6 minutes and 35 seconds left. And it's going to be a heck of a fight here between these 4. I think the producer should stay with this because this one's not done yet. The last time we saw Swiggers, he was in P1. Took a look at the mid-pack, and all of a sudden he finds himself in that third position with that Honda Civic. But Lawrence down the road, you can see, is all over the back of Chris Long. Through the dip they go now. There is Arafanto. He's having a look as well there at Waldo Swiggers. And Swiggers is now coming under immense pressure from Mohammed Arafanto.
So Christopher Long's doing an excellent job. He was a little bit down the pack earlier on, and he got himself through from that 8th position. He did actually physically start in 8th position. We know that because that's where we saw him on the middle of the sector. It was but Christopher Long has managed to work his way to the front. Amazing job that he's done. Let's look at that surround sound shot. Look at that. Oh, that's brilliant stuff. Brilliant racing from the two of them as they work their way now through that right-hander, through Paddock Bend. It's one of the most well-known bends in motorsport. Down through the dip, up into Druids. They go hard on the brakes, having a look on that inside line. Now they're going to go down the Graham Hill straight, and they will take that left-hander. It's a pretty sharp left-hander. You'll see there's lots of rumble strip on the outside that the guys go onto, and then up towards the Clark curves. That's up towards the Clark curves. That's the lead vehicle and second place. Look at all the lock-up marks that there is there. Now you take a long right-hander, and the speed that you carry out of that corner makes a big difference as you get up here onto the straight, and then that long downhill section diving out towards the left-hand side, and there you've got to now carry the speed through very neatly, but that curbstone on the outside closes up on you just like that. You've got to be very careful because there's not a lot of runoff room on the outside of that curbstone.
Right, they're making their way through that hairpin. That is Druids corner now as the leaders go through. That's Waldo Swiggers in P3, Mohamed Arafanto in the Alfa Romeo in P4, and Lucas just behind them. I picked him up there in P5. That's Clinton Besaidenote. So Besaidenote is there in that 5th position. There we go. Clinton Besaidenote sits there in P5 in that Audi, and you can see the combination of Arafanto and Swiggers. That's in P3 and 4 just ahead of him, and he rounds off the top 5. Does Clint Besaidenote, and I must say is getting a whole lot closer there to that combination of Arafanto and Swiggers as he races uphill, turns it into the right-hander. Does Clinton Besaidenote, races in the South African National Polo Cup Championships. Does Clint Besaidenote, and a number of other drivers that take part in other virtual sim racing categories as well. So we're on board now with the Honda Civic of Waldo Swiggers, and there we see Arafanto and Luke Gary. How close Besaidenote is now to the combination of Swiggers and Arafanto.
I must say Besaidenote has been there and thereabouts with 3 minutes to go. He just hasn't got that last minutes to be able to catch up with Besaidenote. He's tried really hard, and I must say he's been very consistent looking forward from Besaidenote's car. That's the gap that he sees, and it must be so tempting to try a little bit of late braking and any other maneuver that he possibly can. There's the front four in front of him, in fact, as he works his way through that left-hander up the straight. That there is 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st right there in front of him, and he would love to get a bit of up that right-hand rear wheel as they come over the next week. Is still holding sway, staying in of that Alpha in there behind him as they go up onto the front lane. It's a very high speed corner that we play 6th gear all the way going in. They're just over 200 kilometers an hour down to 5th, flip the brakes onto the curbstones on the inside, right onto the curbstones on the outside, holding it in 5th gear all the way up into the top corner, into Druids, down to 3rd gear. You've got to be on the gas to pull it through there. Now you go up to through the Hill straight and through the bend. He holds it in 4th gear, run all the way through the up to 7,000 mark in 5th gear, lift off lightly and feed it through, hold it 5th gear all the way, taking hard on the brakes all the way gears down. Swiggers runs it wide. Swiggers goes out onto the curbstone, and they are now side by side as they work their way out into the front bank, working their way through the gearbox up into 6th.
Well, that's not done and dusted yet. They are still side by side as they go into that right-hander. Swiggers still sitting there in P4. Ahead of him, P3 is Arafanto. As he looks up on the inside of Arafanto, there's contact. There is contact between Swiggers and Arafanto, and this has brought Besaidenote into play as well. Ahead of, oh, he nailed him! Clinton Besaidenote just tagged the back end there of the Honda Civic of Waldo Swiggers and sent Swiggers packing, and now he's having a look there at Mohamed Arafanto.
Of Arafanto as they work their way through that right-hander down through the dip. They go 4th gear, 140, 150 up into 5th gear, 160, 170, 180, 6th gear all the way, just touching on the 200, 210, hard on the brakes. Now you've got to go down to 5th gear, clip that inside curve, make sure you don't run too wide, back on the edge of the green stuff. Arafanto now closing that line of Arafanto with literally a lap and a half to go, has decided he's going to have to protect those inside lines now, because Mazzano has got accustomed to the feeling of this, and he's just getting quicker and quicker and quicker.
Well, when the leader crosses the line, you'll have 2 laps to go. We've got 5 seconds left on the clock as we're on board with Christopher Long. And he is not the man that sits there in P1. It is Kyle Lawrence that is leading. There you see Lawrence disappear down into the right-hander. That is Paddock Hill. The leader is on his final lap according to what we see on our monitor here, with Long in that second position. And I think Chris will settle for that second position with Kyle Lawrence way down the road in the Alfa Romeo as he makes his way through the Graham Hill straight, the Graham Hill corner. He'll turn it left into McLaren, and then from McLaren he'll turn it right into Clark corner, and that is Clark corner now. That is the final long right-hander that takes you onto the Brabham straight, the main straight, and that will take Kyle Lawrence to the checkered flag as, know what it says. Yes, he's done it. Checkered flag is out. And Kyle Lawrence comes home in P1. Christopher Long finishes in second. And gee, Besaidenout ends down there behind Adrian Nel. My goodness, so something must have happened out there that we didn't see, because he was having a go at Arafanto at one stage of the game. And there's Waldo Swiggers, and there is Arafanto crossing the line. So somehow Adrian Nel came into play on the final lap.
Well, I must say, some good racing. A lovely circuit, the Brands Hatch round 2 for British Touring Cars. Pity that the scoreboard was incorrect, but having professionals on the right side. He's the younger of the two of us, so he remembers the stuff much better than what I do. So, Frankie, big thanks for trying to work that one out for us. That was round 2, SRA Sim Race Africa, and that was from Brands Hatch. Big thanks to JP Hydraulics, big thanks to Volvo Cars Namibia, both of those Namibian companies, and then also to Maps Racing, John Henry Vaughan and his dad John Vaughan, to Quick Fix Jano and Jannie van der Westhuizen, and then also to Yuri Swart from Alpine Auto. All of these guys coming on board and helping us from the commentary point of view. Well, folks, that wraps it up for today. Thanks very much for joining us, and next week we'll be back with you same time, and we will be going to something very interesting. We'll in fact be coming back with the Polo